welcome to Share Inspirations, guys. Today I wanted to give you a tour of my greenhouse and all the goodness that is growing in here. So I have this divided into 4 sections, okay? So I'm going to take you section through section and show you what I got. So all this big stuff right here you see is straw flower. I sowed this in July as an experiment to see if I would produce in times of frost, and guess what? It is. It is, however, trying to grow out of the greenhouse. What I think is going to happen is it's going to turn itself downwards and grow this way, which is fine with me. I just wanted to have some cutflowers after the frost when zinnias and my dahlias are taken out in the front yard. So anyway, this is the straw flower, as well as I have some zinnias back here that are to be cut. Now, something else that I've noticed is when you do something like this where you sow zinnias in July, in the hottest time of the year, and wanting to cut these in times when temperatures drop below 32, the flower production sometimes slows down a little bit in some plants, not all of them. This what you see here is a miniature zinnia, and of course, because it's in a greenhouse, everything that is supposed to be, say, 2 foot tall ends up being 3 foot tall because of how great the environment is inside and whatnot. So I have straw flowers and zinnias that are currently flowering in here. I have coleus that I had planted. As you can see, they're going nuts almost about a month ago, 13th of October. Here I have some blanket flower. I didn't have much of a germination rate. I planted a few seeds. I so far only have 1 plant. That's better than nothing. I have some forget-me-nots right there. And these like shade, so they're shaded naturally by all this jungle growing in here. Again, I don't want to hack it down because I would like to have cut flowers that I can't have outside. Now, say, what else do I have in here other than zinnias? And I have a Cosmo that has decided to come this way, and this is a Bright Lights Cosmo. I have a Gladiola is wanting to make a comeback right here, because this whole thing was Glads, and it was my own fault for not mixing the soil properly. I only had compost, and I was trying to grow Glads in just compost, thinking, oh, well, they're not going to care. Yeah, well, they didn't flower. They had leaves, but no flowers. So then I amended the soil in here with cocoa core and perlite, and added Epsom salt, and this is the end product of what happened afterwards. I have the Selpa glosses mix, and as you can see, all those little guys are going, and I planted this not too long ago. I also have evening scented stock. All of these little guys are evening scented stock. Then I have candy tuft. All of these are candy tuft. This area in the back, out behind this, is empty still. I'm going to actually plant some bells of Ireland and Chantilly snapdragons in today, hopefully before the end of the day today. I have these snapdragons. Look at these snapdragons. These were planted on the 8th of October, so as you can see, they're about, I want to say about 6 inches tall each, and I don't want to take some out, only because in about snapdragons take about 3 months for me to flower in the greenhouse, so I've done this before. So what I'm going to do is leave it growing like this, and once they flower, I will cut long stems, so then they will have an automatic thinning, if you will. So I'm going to leave that as is. I have some Lysianthus growing all this little guys. Lysianthus is right here. These tall ones are, of course, escapees of my tall rust resistant Snapdragon. Now all of this was supposed to be different varieties of Larkspur. If you can see, there's only 2 that actually did something. I haven't had much luck with Larkspur last year either. So this year apparently I'm looking at 3 plants. So I'm going to wait another couple of weeks, and if not, I'm going to go ahead and plant more Snapdragons in this area. Because Snapdragons love it in the greenhouse. Alright, this big plant is a primrose. Back there, it's also a primrose. I have a whole bunch of poppies, if you can see. So all these little guys are all poppies, different varieties of poppies. And of course my favorite that I recently planted, the Iceland poppy. And these are the seedlings of it. And this is, I believe, an escapee of something. I'm not sure what. Sometimes when I'm dropping little seeds, one little seed would get stuck on my finger, and I would tap things to make sure everything is closed. Seeds are covered and whatnot, and guess what? The seed transferred because they're so thin, like sawdust. But look at this, guys. It's how amazing the poppies are doing for me. Last year I had poppies blooming around February, I believe. So this year I planted them a little bit sooner in hopes to get flowers a little bit sooner. Again, in my experience, what I have seen here in the greenhouse, I've had this is the second year of the greenhouse. I have noticed that plants that would normally flower outside in 3 to 4 months usually flower about 4 to 6 weeks earlier in here. So hoping that would happen this year. Now this greenhouse, if you're wondering, my husband built me this greenhouse out of a twin bed that we found on the street somebody was giving away. Now we added the boards at the bottom, put a thick plastic on top, and then did the compost and the soil mix and whatnot. The sides are corrugated plastic panels up top. In the back is plastic. On this side is plastic, only because this is the walls of the house, so I didn't figure it would need. I was trying to stay frugal and do it for the least amount of money, and it still ended up costing me about $100 or so only because of this plexiglass. Because plexiglass was super expensive, and I went back and forth as to, do I want corrugated panel or do I want plexiglass, and my husband won that argument, and we ended up with plexiglass, and he would never work with plexiglass after this because of how hard it was to work with. Anyway, so this has been my greenhouse for the last 2 years, and this is the second year that this is so much healthier than my last crop because I was trying to grow everything in compost like an idiot. But you know, you live and you learn. I didn't realize that I needed to have a healthy soil. The importance of soil is something that I have recently learned, maybe a year ago, when I saw what good soil can grow. So the first thing people ask me, what do I grow? I grow soil. That's the first thing I grow. Anyway, this was a little tour of my greenhouse and all the goodness that's growing in here. I will be sure that when I come in here to cut the flowers, say Snapdragons and whatnot, I will bring a camera with me. It's difficult to remember since there's so much going on in the garden. You gotta hack away plants, you gotta make the bouquet and decorate the house with them, make sure the garden has all sorts of plants. Something else I wanted to mention is on the sides, if you see, this is the bedding that came out of a box spring, and I use this as a cushion to insulate the greenhouse, and it works great because I have a thermometer in here, and it tells me what temperature it is, and usually it's about 10 to 15 degrees warmer in here than it is outside. So say it's 32 outside, it would be about 40 something in here. So far it's worked great for me, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you with the next one. Thank you guys. Bye.